Bonjour. Mishko Pagnon Quena Dishnakas Mangdodem. Hi, everybody. My name is Sandy Boucher. I'm Red Thunderbolt Woman of the Loon Clan and a proud member of Seine River First Nation in Northern Ontario, Canada. And I'm here today with this episode of Surviving Isolation. We are doing the August 14th episode today, and that is episode 22. I gotta admit it, and I know I've said it before. When I first started shooting these episodes, this show, did I think 22 episodes later I'd still be doing this? I can honestly say I didn't. I started doing it simply to survive isolation, to reach out to people, to make sure that you were okay, to help me be okay, because I love the people I get to meet and work with. And here we are, 22 episodes later. Wow. As always, before I say anything else, I want to send out a huge welcome to all of my listeners and viewers. If you're listening to this on Sandy Boucher, the podcast, welcome. Thanks for checking out my brand new podcast. I hope you're enjoying the morning messages. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if it resonates with you. And if you're watching this on Shaw Spotlight, thank you for welcoming me back into your home. As always, we're going to start off with a mental health check-in. How are you doing? Are you doing okay? School's coming up. That's on everybody's mind. How are you adjusting? Do you have kids or grandkids in school? My grandchildren are homeschooled, and I was just talking to my daughter about how absolutely thrilled I am that she made that decision. I've always been supportive of that decision, but in this time, I'm really happy that my grandchildren don't have to go back to school. And the reality is, there's so many parents out there that need to work. It's a horrible situation, and my heart goes out to anyone who's struggling with that decision. It is a very personal decision, and you do what you need to do for you and your family. I support you in that decision. Otherwise, I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're enjoying your inner circle of 10, your bubble. I hope you get to see friends and loved ones. I hope maybe you're even getting in some social distancing. And I hope you have a nice supply of masks for when you have to go into the stores. If we keep up this vigilance, then we can get through this and not have to worry about that scary second wave. So that's the mental health check-in. This week, again, there's a theme, and since you can still see some boxes over in the corner, since I've just moved, obviously, brand new backdrop here, I wanted to talk about some moving stories because I have some stories to share with you, and I'd be interested in hearing from you if you have any funky moving stories, and you'll understand that a little bit more in a second. The other thing is, probably about 3 episodes ago, I announced a draw. It was in the episode about highs and lows. What are your highs during this pandemic and what are your lows? And I invited people to email me with their responses. And thank you so much to all of the people that did. I absolutely love that. I didn't forget about you. I promised a gift as part of that draw. So I'm going to announce the winner today at the end of the show. So make sure to stay tuned. As always, we need to talk about our statistics just to help us realize how far we've come and how long we've been on this pandemic train. It was March 11th when the World Health Organization, WHO, declared the pandemic. That is 156 days ago. For me, March 13th was my last public event. I went into self-isolation March 14th, and that's 153 days ago. And I mentioned in the last video that I have a public event coming up at the end of August, and I'm so thrilled. So that stat is soon going to disappear. And then Ontario, Premier Ford declared the state of emergency on March 17th, which as of August 14th is 150 days ago. I've heard rumors that COVID is going to be part of our reality in some way, shape, or form for the next 2 years. I shouldn't have said rumors. It was actually a article I read, a news report, and I can understand that. Maybe not, and hopefully not to the extent it is now, but I think it's going to become part of our reality now, and because COVID-19 is going away, and then what comes next? We're going to start reacting to this like the flu, and do we get that annual shot? So interesting times ahead. But today we're going to have some fun. And I'm going to share some stories from my long and checkered past. And yeah, don't judge. Laugh, giggle, but don't judge. So, we're talking about moving stories. And before I share my stories with you, I should explain a little bit about my personality. If you're into horoscopes, I'm an Aries. I'm the first sign of the zodiac, so considered the infant sign. When I explain to people what I'm like or what my personality is like, I always get them to imagine a 4-year-old little girl that gets absolutely excited over something new. And if you made plans and unfortunately you have to cancel them, I'm gonna pout like you would not believe, but I'm going to pout for about 10 seconds until I think of the next exciting thing I want to do, and then I'm off and running again. I am 56 years old and I still live my life that way, which is why I believe I was born to be a motivational speaker. It's not an act. I truly am that happy. And it's not because I've had this charmed and easy life. For those who know me, I'm a 10-year domestic abuse survivor. I've had alcohol and addictions blow my family apart more times than I care to share. I've known poverty. I've had to sell furniture to feed my children at one point. So it's not because I had an easy life. It's because I made the choice to live my life happy. I saw my mom do it in very meager conditions. My parents didn't have a dime to their name. I was raised very poor, but my mom was happy, and so was my dad. They were laughing and joking and loving with each other every single day. And I see no reason to change that model. It worked for them, it works for me. Now, why that explanation? Well, what I have discovered, God forbid if I ever get to the point where I want to buy a house again, because I rent my houses. And what I've noticed about myself, it just happens so many times, you have to realize it after a while, that when I walk into a new place, if I like it, and I may not, and that's okay, but if I like it, I'm going to get super excited and I'm going to start noticing all the awesome things that I love. I love those French doors with all the little windows. Oh, absolutely love those. Those are going to make my heart sing. A deck on the house, ah, absolutely going to love it. But the problem is, because I get so excited about the great stuff, I kind of don't notice the problem areas until I like move in. I wish I was kidding, but that has happened so many times. It's not even funny. Now, this move, I love my home, but I definitely had to make some adjustments. I have, I rent a 3-bedroom home, even though I live alone. And that's because one of the bedrooms is always my office, one is my admin assistant's office, and then, of course, I need a bedroom at some point. Well, this move, one, My desk barely fit in the room that I had designated to be my office. Two, the room barely gets any light, and I obviously need light to shoot my videos. Even artificial light didn't seem to be helping that situation very much. And three, like, I have office furniture. I have a U-shaped desk. I don't know if you can see, but I have a desk on both sides of me here. They don't necessarily fit through residential size doors very easily, and sometimes not at all. So I've made some adjustments, and I think I shared in one of my Teaching Tuesday video this week that over, under, around, or through, well, sometimes those options don't work and you just have to accept. So I found a great new place for my desk. Is actually amazing. I think I like it even more than the setup at my condo, but it took some adjusting. So that's what happened this move. And I'm still trying to find places to put things, but it'll work out. It's just a challenge. But it got me thinking back to the other times I've moved and the other times I did this. And I can remember when my kids were little, and my kids are in their 30s now. So I'm talking when they were like, I think my son was brand new. My daughter would have been like 2-ish. Oh my God, me and my ex-husband, we found this gorgeous little house. Just cute is the only word that can describe it. It had the little deck on the front and just beautiful, a 2-story house, just with the pointy roof. I absolutely loved it. And it was cute. And it had French doors all over the place. I fell in love with that home so much that I didn't notice two things that turned out to be fairly important when I moved in. The first, there were no, think about this, imagine this, picture this. There were no drawers in the kitchen. None. None, none, none. Not just one or two. None. Zero. Nada. Where do you put your silverware? Hmm. What about all those utensils that you use for cooking? Now, I have the container on the counter where I keep the ones that I use all the time, but what about all those extra ones you need and you don't use all the time? I ended up having to get a shelving unit and put my silverware on a shelf. And just when you thought that was it, wrong answer again. That's when I noticed that none of the bedrooms, and in this case, it was a 2-bedroom house, 1 bedroom for the kids and one for us. It was before I was working from home. No closets, none, nada, not just small, not just inadequate, none. But it was a very cute house and it had French doors. So we ended up staying there. What else were we going to do? I mean, you moved, you got to move. That's story number one. Well, I guess this house is story number one. And then the cute little house without drawers and closets is number two. I have four for you. Number three was actually a cute little basement apartment that I rented. And it was after my marriage had ended. So needed something fairly close to the kids' school, blah, blah, blah. So I was willing to compromise, let's say. It had the 2 bedrooms we needed. It had closets. It had drawers in the kitchens. Actually had a really nice island separating the kitchen from the dining room area. It had lots of windows for a basement apartment, so I really liked it. It was warm. There was a lot of wood. I find wood so warm and inviting. So I really, really loved that apartment. And it turned, we have very positive memories of that place. There was only one issue, and again, it turned out to be a fairly big issue. Uh, I came to understand that one, I'm pretty sure it was an illegal apartment. It had to be because Our power, our electrical power, was actually connected to the power in the next apartment. So what would happen is, one, we were blowing fuses all the time. If I plugged in a toaster, the power went out, and it went out in the entire apartment. And two, I could never get hold of the landlord. He was never home. He only lived a block away, which would be incredibly convenient, but he never seemed to be home. So I can remember it, and that's, I think, why we have such pleasant memories. My kids were probably maybe 7 and 9 at this point, and I mean, we were doing campfires, not the real fire, but pretending to sit around and just to have a powwow in the middle of the living room. And I'm not talking, oh, we've actually had a powwow with powwow music and dancing, and just used the light from the windows. And when it was nighttime, yeah, it was nighttime. Yeah, yeah. Check the power. I don't even know how you would check ahead of time on that, but that was that apartment. But I think the winner, and this should have set the bar and it didn't, because this, we're going to go back in time now to actually when I was 18 and I first moved out on my own. I was born and raised in the small town of Hudson outside of Sioux Lookout. Shout out to anyone from Hudson if you're watching this. And when I first moved out, I actually moved all the way to Windsor. So small town Northern Ontario girl moved to Southern Ontario, big city. And I rented an upstairs apartment, a walk up. I was about to learn these phrases. So you went up on the little front step and you opened up my apartment door. The door next to it was to the main floor. And as soon as you opened my door, you had like 16 steps up to the top. And then I had the upstairs apartment. So when I first moved in there, I had a roommate. That didn't really work out very well. So she ended up moving in with her boyfriend, and I just took over the apartment on my own. So this apartment had two surprises for me. So, just a disclaimer here, warning, if you have an issue with bugs, you might want to cover your ear for a sec. Southern Ontario, in some places, has cockroaches. They're, it's a warm enough environment to have them. So I had never seen cockroaches before. What I didn't realize is they could be creeping, crawling all around a room, but if you turn on the light, you actually hear this sound. It's like a split second, just like, and they're gone. They vanish out of sight. You might catch one, a late, slow moving one, just going into hiding, but 90% of the time, you don't see them. You just hear this sound. And being a northern girl, when I first started hearing that, I actually thought I was losing it. Like, what's going on here? Am I imagining sounds? Until one night, I was hungry and I decided to have a peanut butter sandwich. So I went down the hallway and I flicked on the light in the kitchen and I heard that sound. Opened up the kitchen cupboard to get the peanut butter. So the cupboard's like eye level. And right in front of me was the cockroach sitting next to my loaf of bread. I closed the cupboard door and went back to the living room. I'm hunger gone, appetite gone. I, at that point, started looking for another apartment. I don't think you'd be surprised, but there was one more thing to make this absolutely entertaining. My front door fell off. I'm not even sure how that happens. I don't know if something happened with the hinges, but the main front door that you lock. So it broke off, and I don't know how to fix it. And I wasn't strong enough to hold it in place to fix it. And I tried calling the landlord, and one, I kept getting their voicemail, and two, they don't speak English. So I was leaving this message, hoping I was talking to the right person. Long story short, I had amazing people there that helped me out. I ended up moving back home, and that door never got fixed to the best of my knowledge. So how's that for a moving story? That's my reality. Now, once again, I'm inviting you to email me. Email me. I want to hear your moving stories. I want to hear what's the worst place you ever moved into and why. Don't be naming names, don't be giving addresses, but let's have a good laugh because I mean, we're still stuck at home. We're still trying to figure this out. There's so much stress. We might as well laugh about it, right? I admitted what I've done. How about you admit the places you didn't realize were less than perfect? And again, I have a prize. If you send me your submission, you'll be entered into the draw, and I have a prize for someone. Now, as I mentioned way back when, probably about 3 episodes, I'm going to go guess. We did the highs, lows episode. Uh, a bunch of people submitted, and I took your names and I put them in a little jar. Next time I should do that online, I suppose. Anyways, Donna Faye, you emailed me and shared your truths with me. You are the winner. So I need you to email me so I can get you those prizes. Now, you won a copy of all 3 of my books. You can choose whether you want that in PDF download form or the actual written and autographed books. I'll be happy to send it out to you. I do not have your mailing address if you go that route. I think I have your email address, so I will email you back and let you know in case you don't see this episode. Why aren't you watching this episode? But I will get hold of you. If not, if anyone knows Donna Faye, then please let her know that she is the winner of the high-low draw. Don't forget to send me your moving stories. I am dying to hear. I need a good laugh, and I need to know I'm not the only one that does this because that would be kind of embarrassing. I hope you're doing well. Once again, I'm saying prayers for you. I hope that you're hanging in there. I hope you've made your decision come school time. I hope your school is being supportive and you like the steps they're putting in. And I'm just praying for you, just because that's the kind of person I am. Until next week, take care of you. I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.